here in Fort Collins. Let's check in now with Desmond Purnell, third member of our broadcast team. Good evening, Desmond.
Jason, for a second game in a row, the Aggies will be without senior guard Brock Miller due to back spasms. Head coach Ryan Odom told us he's been playing in pain for quite some time, and he will likely miss the remainder of the month. Now, Justin Beam and Ryland Jones, they're a little banged up as well, but they have been able to participate in non-contact practices. Both are slated to start tonight, Jason.
Desmond, thanks. Ryan Odom. Here's a look at the starting lineup for both teams. Again, with Miller out, Sean Bairstow will make his second straight start. He was good the other night in New Mexico. 14 points, a season high for him. Normal starting five here for Colorado State. Stevens and Roddy Thistlewood and more. And Deshaun Thomas, he had 15 points at a win against at Colorado State. And again, trying to get this program in a groove one more time. All five starters back from last year's 20-win team. You look at the series history, and Steve, Utah State's won 7 of the last 8, but you talked about it, they will be amped up here, players and fans, after what transpired Saturday for this team in San Diego.
Yeah, you know, and usually good teams come back strong, especially a team like Colorado State got drilled in the second half by San Diego State. You can expect them to come back with a good effort. Besides the fact, Niko Medved hasn't lost 2 games in a row in the regular season since December of 2019. So Utah State's going to have their hands full.
Well, Ryland Jones, again, already went down hard on the weekend, Steve, in that New Mexico game. You heard Desmond talk about it. He did not return in that game. Goes down hard early on. Foul there on Adam Thistlewood.
Tough kid, transferred from Utah. Was really good at Utah, averaged 10 points a game and 5 assists. Transferred here to Utah State, and he's a tough kid, taking 18 charges on the season so far.
In transition, hanging, hitting, and no. And the follow is there inside. Great work from Bairstow, who can elevate, 6'8" junior from down under in Australia.
See, they're going to miss Brock Miller, who's one of the best three-point shooters in the history of Utah State. But Sean Bairstow gives him something different, a little more length and a little more size.
On the inside, the attack from Stevens, second on this team in scoring, almost 15 per game.
And both these teams, primarily man-to-man teams. Colorado State will sprinkle in a little zone. Funny thing was, now, that's something that Bairstow does not do as well as Brock Miller. But a funny thing about that last game, Utah State played against New Mexico. They played hardly any zone this year. They were losing by 15 at halftime, and Ryan Odom came out in a 1-3-1 zone, and it really helped get them back in the game against New Mexico, which they eventually won in overtime.
Down 17 at one point early second half. Roddy trying to get that pass from Thomas and turned over. Turnovers have been superb for Colorado State for most of the season, but they've been up a little bit of late, 11 or more in 3 of their last 4 games.
Yeah, top 25 in least turnovers, and this is a team that also their turnover percentage is low.
One and done on that trip for Utah State. See this Rams team try to get into a rhythm. They can shoot it well from anywhere. Inside the arc, outside the arc, and from the free throw line, Adam Thistlewood, one of their good three-point shooters, over 40% from long range, can't hit.
Well, how about Colorado State? Has 5 guys who've made at least 1 3 in a game this season. That's a lot of dangerous three-point threats.
Leading scorer in the Mountain West at 20 per game. Bean can't hit it from the baseline. Sluggish start for the Aggies, hitting just 1 of their first 5 shots. Thomas on the turn, no. And Bean, who's tops in rebounding in the league, 2 at over 10 per game, gets that.
Not going to get much of a better look than that good cut. You know, it's funny, Niko Medved told us when we were on our Zoom call that he sees Justin Bean as one of the best cutters in the country. That's something that only a coach would say. And there was a great cut by Justin Bean right there.
Now the movement even deep into the shot clock when they get into the half court, something that the Rams have to be aware of this Utah State offense. Nice offensive rebound for Roddy. Moore with a second chance. Free for number 3.
Yeah, I mean, Kendall Moore's had a very good career here. He's going to score 1,000 points probably this season. Imagine they have 4 guys on the team that are going to score 1,000 points in their career, and not transfers either.
Balance and depth. Again, all 5 starters back from last year. The flush on the inside for Horvath. One of 2 players to come along from UNBC with Ryan Odom for the Aggies.
And you know what, Jason? We look at the analytics, and the analytics say that Utah State's one of the better teams in the country at cuts. There was another great cut and a backdoor layup.
Thistlewood lost the handle, tracked down by Bairstow. Second turnover here already in this first 4-minute stretch for the Rams. 6'5" Utah State. R.J. Idlerock, another of the former retrievers that made the trek here to Utah State with Coach Odom. And
you look at the great spacing Utah State has. That's one of the reasons why they're able to cut so well. They have 5 guys out there that can make a 3-point shot, and that creates good space.
5 guys that can bring the ball down the floor as well. And that spacing and shooting on display for the Aggies here early on. Bean back cutting for 2, and the chance to get another for Horvath, and the Aggies by 1. Full complement of students not back till next week here in Fort Collins, but they've got some backers here tonight. And Steve, entering play Saturday, there were 3 unbeaten teams left in Division I. There are no more. Rams went down first at San Diego State, and then yesterday and last night, USC bounced by Stanford, and Baylor going.
Probably the most surprising one of the 3, because Baylor was home. And, you know, Texas Tech coming off that great win at Kansas, you would have thought that, Baylor's going to take care of these guys tonight, but give Texas Tech a ton of credit. But to be undefeated this late in the season has built a heck of a program here.
And he talked with us about that. He said, look, certainly they want to bounce back. You take it on the chin. And you asked him, do you burn the tape? Do you watch the tape? He said, we needed to watch the tape. We told the team we were there for a basketball game. The Aztecs were there for a fight. Said they beat us, but since his guys kind of gave in emotionally just a bit for the first time all season.
You know, there's all kinds of ways you can look at that. Some people would have burnt it. He knows his team better than anybody else, so he wanted them to benefit from that. But you know what? They are also the hunted for the first time. And let's face it, San Diego State, they've been the premier program. He's got to finish that one there. They've been the premier program in this league, and now Colorado State comes in undefeated, and they were ready to do what they needed to do against Colorado State.
Thomas couldn't hit. Moore kept it alive, and Thistlewood can't score it. Coach Nedved said, you know what? We also won 11 in a row. We can't overreact to the one game, but certainly things to build on.
And that is true, but I also think there's a lesson to be learned about what kind of intensity level you have to bring with you on the road. It's got to be double of what you bring at home, because at home you're going to get help from your fans. On the road, it's just your team.
Being pulled up off the iron, and that's the same kind of feeling Ryan Odom had for his team, not only in the game that they fell behind last time out against New Mexico, but also the one before against Air Force, where they were beaten by the Falcons in the conference opener. Got to be able to bring that energy right from the jump. And the jumper from Thistlewood offline.
Boy, he's had some wide open looks that I'm surprised did not go down yet.
2 of 8 shooting for the Rams, just 1 of 5 from long range for a team good for almost 40% makes on their threes.
Well, you look at their stats, Jason. If I had a guy on my team that shot 50% from field goal percentage, 40 from 3, and I like that, I was happy. That's a great move in there by Horvath. Imagine that the whole team does that. The only team in the nation in the top 10 in all 3 of those categories.
Horvath second on the Aggies in scoring, over 13 per game, his second bucket of the contest. 8-5 here for the Aggies.
He was a good guy for Ryan Odom to bring with him from UNBC, where he averaged 13 a game.
Thomas. Back for Roddy. In the one-on-one showdown with Bean. Long jumper for Roddy off the iron. And the Aggies starting to heat up offensively. Only made 1 of their first 5 shots. They have hit 3 of their last 4.
But look at their spacing. You got a guy like Horvath now who's kind of fooling around on the baseline, but he's a very good three-point shooter, so it's hard to guard a team that's got 5 guys out.
And they'll get Jones for the travel. Again, the setback at San Diego. Again, those numbers you talked about, exquisite in a lot of categories. They were rather ugly the other night.
That's about as ugly as it gets, but we know this. San Diego State has a culture of tremendous half-court defense for the last 15 years, from Steve Fisher to Brian Dutcher. That's what they do, and they were as ready as could be for Colorado State that day.
Been about 4 minutes since the last field goal for the Rams. They've missed 4 straight shots. Stevens can't end the funk. Horvath. Defender hit the deck and Stevens no call. And a flop warning coming there on Stevens. And fans don't like it, but the officials clearly making the call.
That's a good call. That was a flop.
Michael Greenstein, Paul Sells, Larry Spalding overseeing this one. Bairstow trying to attack Chandler Jacobs, who's checked in, and Bairstow blowing by.
That's something Brock Miller can make threes, but Brock Miller's not putting the ball on the floor. That was a heck of a move by Bairstow. His brother was a pretty good player in New Mexico a number of years back. Cam Bairstow, one of the best players in the Mountain West.
Back-to-back starts for Bairstow and delivering again. Entry on the inside. Trying to find James Moore. Sophomore from New Zealand can't grab it. Again, this Utah State team, we know about their three-point shooting too. They get about 9 threes per game. But if they come back against New Mexico, they went inside, dominated in the paint. All 10 of the points for the Aggies have come in the paint so far.
Yeah, I mean, they're a team that can do it in both areas.
They outscored the Lobos the other night, 54-20 in the paint. Moore's trying to get the handoff for Stevens as the Rams look to get on track. Contested shot. Bairstow with strong defense, tracked down by Jacobs in the corner. John Tonjet. Stevens kick out. 3, Jacobs. Deep in the shot clock. And another empty trip here for Colorado State.
Yeah, I mean, they're getting pretty good looks, but they haven't been able to knock down anything yet. And they're one of the top 5 teams in the country in half-court offense. Utah State, top 25 in half-court offense. So both these teams well-schooled in scoring in the half-court.
Bean, who's shooting over 50% from 3. Can't stick that long range attempt. And the Rams have missed 7 straight attempts from the floor. Finally, their first bucket in over 6 minutes. And it's a 3 from the freshman Jalen Lake.
I like this kid. And Nico Medved very high on this freshman. He said he's a tremendous three-point shooter.
Coach Medved saying he's really done a nice job defensively too. And coaches usually don't heap a lot of praise on their freshmen for defense. But Lake there, aggressive on the deck, poached it loose. Stevens got it and scores it.
You know, Stevens got fouled there on the ground, but I like it that the official didn't call that because he saw that he had the advantage and was going to make a layup. That's good officiating in my mind.
And now a walk. Horvath turns it over.
Isaiah Stevens got a lot of hustle in him, and he's able to get this. He gets bumped and is still able to finish. We got a tie score, Rams and Aggies.
A wild Saturday for the Aggies at the pit in New Mexico. Jamal Mashburn to KJ Jenkins. One of 17 threes for the Lobos in the game. Tied it at 3, or tied it with 3 seconds left, and then the half-court heave, it goes, but it didn't count. They had ruled Lobos had taken a timeout after the made field goal at the other end. It didn't matter. The Aggies got it done in OT. If they had taken off a half-court heave at the end of a game, what would your reaction have been?
Well, if I called the timeout, what am I going to say? But the other guy called it. I don't know. I would question it for sure. But think about this. It's a heck of a win when you give up 17 threes on the road at the pit. And New Mexico hadn't played a game in the pit in 600 some days because of COVID. and to get out of there with a win, giving up 17 threes, boy, you would have never thought that.
And it didn't play with the energy and focus needed to win a conference game at the outset. Now, Tanjay going to get called here for the foul.
You know, one thing we're seeing in this game, too, is two of the better sixth men in the league, Stephen Ashworth for Utah State and John Tanjay for Colorado State. Right now is probably the best sixth man in the Mountain West, averaging 11 a game.
And now offensive foul here at the other end. Utah State, 5 made field goals and 5 turnovers. They'll get the 7-foot freshman Trevin Dorius with that foul. First as a team on the Aggies. Just 2 here on the Rams. Halfway through this opening half. Stevens badgered there by Ashworth.
Utah State's defense is really on point right now.
5 left to shoot. Stevens gets the high screen. Ashworth all over it. Hits it anyway.
That's just a great player making a great play, because you can't play better defense than that on a possession, I will tell you that.
I believe the officials are going to check here about that three if it was off on time as we take a quick timeout. 13-10. Bucket counts for Isaiah Stevens. Again, the officials checked to make sure it got off on time. It did, and the Rams lead.
That's a talented kid, one of the better point guards in the entire nation.
Aggies have turned it over in 3 straight trips down the floor. Bean hoping to change that. Shulga hits the deck hard. Now the sophomore from Kiev, Ukraine, Max Shulga, take a trip to the free throw line.
You know, the ball goes in the low post to Bean. They gave him half of a double team, and they're always cutting to the basket. That's how this team plays.
Foul on Stevens, his first, team number 3. And Shulga off the back iron in the first. He's 16 of 20 now in the season from the stripe. Again, we mentioned Colorado State so good from the free throw line, 81%. Aggies not too shabby either. That's 74% shooting free throw. Over 20 of 25 with the win against the Lobos Saturday. Shulga makes the second, and that stops an 8-0 run for the Rams. And Steve, shooting-wise in this game, 9 of the 15 shots for the Rams have been threes. You surprised?
No, I mean, they like to shoot the three, there's no doubt. And the way this team is playing them defensively, they're not allowing any dribble penetration, and that's why they got that.
So Lake able to stick another. And they make about 8.5 threes per game. 11-1, the surge now for the Rams to lengthen the advantage to 5. Jumper well off. Shulga battling for it, so is Z Hamoda, the freshman from Bahrain.
And Colorado State's defense has picked it up a notch now.
Pull up, Shulga, in and out. Rebound ripped down by Jacobs, the Division II transfer from Dallas Baptist. Sensational score at that level, and finding his role with this team. Straight away. Jacobs cans 3. That's a guy that scored over 2,000 points or in that neighborhood at the D2 level.
And they're starting to find that range, and that's with David Roddy not in the game yet.
So the Rams making their push. Outside hit from Lake, and Jacobs following suit, and CSU racing in front. The state of Colorado was ravaged by a raging wildfire about 40 miles from here. The most destructive wildfire ever in the state, estimated $513 million in damage, destroying nearly 1,100 homes and structures. Desmond Purnell joins us now with more on how the Rams responded. Desmond?
That's right, Jason. During their previous home game, the Rams partnered with the Red Cross thousands of dollars to help those impacted by the recent fires. Coach Medved called the recent tragedy heartbreaking. He said this situation is definitely bigger than basketball. Coach told us as a university, they will continue to do whatever they can to help their community during this difficult time, Jason.
Desmond, thanks. Everybody certainly banding together in this state. It's interesting talking to Coach Medved. He was kind of texting back and forth. That basketball coach Tad Boyd.
Yeah, I mean, because it happened near closer to Boulder, but you know what these people here have been through, and what the people in Kentucky and those states with tornadoes has been through has really been, heartbreaking. Certainly.
Hopefully, some of those folks can take solace and respite and getting a little relief by watching some of their favorite teams in action at times. And right now for Ram fans, they have to be liking what's transpired here in the last couple of minutes. After starting 1 of 7 from long range, they've made 4 straight. And Bean doing what he does. Gets in position, gets the ball, and puts it in.
Well, take a look at Justin Bean. Go ahead, you can run it from there. He's right here. But he doesn't stand still. When Horvath takes it to the basket, he cuts, and Horvath sees him, and he gets a layup.
And worked a lot in his game, especially the three-point shooting. He said maybe that's come along faster than he thought, but that just makes it more difficult to guard.
And I got to tell you, Jason, you don't see guys make that kind of jump in their senior year. You see from freshman to sophomore, 19 threes in his whole career, had 18 so far this season. He worked on that a lot, and it's really added to his game because he's 6'7". He needs to be able to go out on the perimeter and make shots.
Again, we talked about him leading the league in points and rebounds and overall field goal percentage. Coming threes and shot it like that, he'd be leading the league in that category too. Smart,
but he takes good ones, which is very important. Also, that's a big reason why he shoots such a high percentage. But in this game here, we're very fortunate to have the 2 leaders for Mountain West Player of the Year, David Roddy and Justin Bean.
Offensive foul, Isaiah Rivera, a bit out of control.
Good defense right there in transition. But you take a look here at what Justin Bean has done percentage-wise from the three-point line and numbers-wise. This year, he got 18 coming into this game, made 19 in his first 3 years. Worked very hard at that part of his game. But him and Roddy right now, if we were picking a player of the year in the Mountain West, and it's very early, they'd probably be co-players of the year right now, I believe.
Bean talking about that improved shooting. Really said he worked on the physical and mental aspects of it, changing the form, and also believing it's going in.
That's a big thing there, Jason, is believing.
Well, there's belief for Sean Bairstow again, getting the opportunity with Brock Miller out again and delivering again.
But you know, you lose a guy like Brock Miller, who's been really a 3-year starter in the program, and you're able to bring a kid like this off the bench. That's a pretty good substitute.
Jumper on the way, Rivera off the back. Rams by 2. Stevens providing a bulk of the offense. Jones took that hit early, dumps down to the block to Horvath. Lefty turnaround, stays out. Under 6 left to go here, opening half. 2 teams that get close to 80 per game. A little off that track, but this will help the scoring cause. Counted in the foul. Roddy on the roll.
I know they're going to change with the substituting now, but I like when David Roddy's playing the 5 spot for Colorado State. It opens up the floor and gives him more of these opportunities to drive the ball to the basket because nobody's in there. Now, Deshaun Thomas is coming back in, so Roddy is going to go back to the 4 spot. But I like it. They play about 25% of the time with him as their biggest guy in the game to spread the floor more.
Roddy can't stick the free throw. A rare miss at the stripes for Colorado State. And 81%. First free throw of the game for the Rams, and a foul here on the floor.
I think Ryan Odom is looking to get Idle Rock going. He played very well in New Mexico, 16 points. He feels like there's more in R.J. Idle Rock that he got at UMBC that he has not been getting here so far. A little bit of a slow starter.
And Coach Odom talked about melding Horvath, Idle-Rock, bringing them along with his entire coaching staff from UNBC, and kind of mixing those two worlds together and fitting in with this winning culture that's been at Utah State, no matter the coach, for a while.
And I can tell you, Jason, the rules have changed. When I was coaching, you couldn't do anything with your guys till October 15th. Now, he was able to work with these guys all summer. So if you come in new, you have a lot of time to get ready for your first season. In the old days, you did not.
How about Bairstow? Shot clock winding down, backing everybody out, takes it, almost made it, but it stays out. 5 minutes left to go in the half. Rams by 4. Thistlewood.
Well, he's had some wide open looks, and he is a really good three-point shooter.
Still trying to find the groove. Has missed all 4 he's tried from long range.
His stats this year have been a little down. Nico Medved talked about it, that these guys, their attitudes have been great. They've got more good players, so guys aren't playing as many minutes as they have in the past, like Thistlewood, but they are into the team being good. But he needs to make those open threes.
Roddy working on Dean.
That is big time. I know he talks himself being a lot like Draymond Green, I agree, but I also see some Charles Barkley, and I'm not saying he's Charles Barkley, but Charles Barkley was a big, burly kid also at the same stage who could move like him.
6'6", 255, the numbers on Roddy. He can get it done.
And he wasn't going to say Charles Barkley because he probably doesn't even have any idea what Charles Barkley played like. He's too young.
We talked to him about favorite players, said it was LeBron James, improving his skills, especially as he's gone along. And then Draymond Green, he said, is maybe a modern-day guy that he's like.
This is Charles Barkley like. He can handle the ball. And they remember, they used to call Charles the round mound of rebounds because he led the NBA in rebound. This kid is a really good rebounder. He can do things off the dribble. He can shoot it from the perimeter. I see a lot of similarities. Hey, Charles Barkley's one of the 50 greatest players of all time. I'm not saying that David Roddy is Charles Barkley, but he's Barkley-like.
Roddy's got some game. Doubled in the corner. And the block coming, I believe, on Idle-Rock. Rams have picked up the pace and lead by 6. Quick peek at the game summary of this one between Utah State and Colorado State.
Well, you know, the big thing is it's not a great. Colorado State's not great, but when you compare it to the 1 for 6, and Utah State makes more threes per game. But, you know, they make 8.9, Colorado State makes 8.6. So the three-point shooting has been a big difference so far in this game. Colorado State using it, Utah State not able to get it going. And for Colorado State, 4 different guys have made threes in the game so far in the first half. So they have a bunch of guys that can shoot it. Utah State, on the other hand, Sean Bairstow's made the only 3, and he comes into the game 1 for 13. He's not one of their big three-point shooters.
Assists for Utah State, Steve, coming in 19 plus a game, 3rd in the nation. They have 3 so far. Brian Odom calls this maybe the best passing team he's ever had. We saw a couple of those back doors, but they haven't been there at all for Utah State since.
Give Colorado State, that was just tenacity right there, but give Colorado State credit for the way they're defending all of these back cuts.
Roddy with the second effort. Able to muscle up, give him a half dozen right now.
By the way, that first spin move he had that he didn't make was big, big time.
6 consecutive points for Roddy in this stretch. And it lengthens the lead to 8.
And Bean has been relatively quiet.
2 of 7 shooting, 5 points. And that one off the mark too. Stevens keeps it alive. Kick out, more. Rimmed out. And a foul will come against Horvath, tangling with Thomas for the board.
This is the kind of stuff Charles used to do. That is a tight spin right there. Couldn't finish it, but stayed with it and ends up scoring.
Roddy can do it all. Such an athlete. Basketball, football, track and field. He was a thrower in high school.
Hey, I'm not saying this kid's not going to play in the NBA someday, but I'll tell you what, the NFL going to be looking at him too. I bet you any amount of money.
On the drive, Stevens flashing to the cup, but it's the largest lead of the game at 10 for the Rams.
How many basketball players have gone to the NFL and become tight ends? A whole bunch. Mo Alley Cox, right, who played at VCU, he's doing pretty good. There's a bunch of them out there.
That Tony Gonzalez guy ended up being pretty good.
But he was primarily a football player who played basketball. These guys were basketball players, they ended up playing football.
Idle Rock able to get it to go. You talked about him, again, senior from England, one of the guys coming from UMBC.
That was a bad memory, by the way, Tony Gonzalez. We played them in the NCAA tournament when he was at Cal, and I was at Villanova, and he destroyed us. And I was like, why couldn't he just play football? He had to play basketball, too. Destroyed us. Second round of the NCAA tournament.
Well, for a Rams team that faced a little destruction the other night, this is the kind of response Niko Medved was looking for, but it's taken a little while to get there. Trailing early and now surging in front. 2 minutes or so left to go in the half.
I think Niko Medved, their offense hasn't been great, but defensively they've been pretty tough.
+6 in the boards, too. Well, another single shot attempt to that trip for the Aggies.
What do you do with a guy 6'6", 255? You can put it on the floor. You got to lay off him a little bit, and he puts one in your face from the three-point line, where he's also a very good three-point shooter, shooting 42% coming into the game.
Roddy cutting cord for 3. Give him 9 points, and Horvath counters with 2 back for the Aggies. And 6'10", 210, you can see he could put it on the deck. That's something that which Medved was aware of in this Utah State team. All 5 guys usually on the floor can move with the ball, set it up, or score it themselves.
Yeah, they can all pass, dribble, and shoot. Great pass there by Isaiah Stevens.
Overshot by Moore. Jones looked for Beam, covered well, and he'll deal off now for Bairstow.
Sees Kendall. He saw the smaller guy on him, and he decided to take him to the basket.
How about Bairstow? The confidence coming through. He's been the leading force thus far with the Aggies with 9. Coming up, AT&T at the half. Adam Zucker, Brandon Rush, John Rothstein, Gary Parrish standing by in New York. Get you up to speed on everything else going on in college hoops. Steve, is it true that Adam Zucker one time brought you food on the team bus at a road game at Villanova at Syracuse?
That is true, and he was so happy. He was a student at Syracuse working at the pizzeria. We were just leaving the dome after we won, by the way, and he was bringing food to our bus, and we gave him a great tip, and he always remembers the tip that we gave. I didn't give him the tip, the managers did, but they gave him a great tip.
Some good calzones and pizza from the Acropolis?
Absolutely.
Oh, you're living right.
After a win, of course.
Let's see if the Rams are living right after that timeout here, end of the half. Kick back for Tonje. Side rim the 3. Jones got plenty of time to set something up here for the Aggies. Double though, Roddy coming from behind. Poached away by Stevens.
Oh, they got plenty of time.
Stevens, pull up. Yes! Massive swing here at the end of the half.
Yeah, that's one of those plays as a coach. You should be getting the last shot of the half. You turn it over. Your point guard turns it over, doesn't turn it over usually, and then they score the last 3. That's a killer going into halftime.
Well, the Rams took 20 three-point shots at San Diego State in the game. They attempted 20 from beyond the arc in this half, made 7 of them, including that last one from Stevens. He leads the way with 12 points, and the Rams 24 lead at the break. So Colorado State try to bounce back from that first loss of the season and feeling good at this point. And Utah State looking for a 5th straight win, and it's 8th in the last 9 games. They'll have to work from behind here on the road. Let's check in with Desmond Burnell.
We're here with Coach Medved. Coach, your team started off 1 for 7 behind the three-point line. A little slow, but things picked up. What changed offensively?
I thought we were getting some great looks. I mean, we got some great looks from some really good shooters. It's just kind of one of those nights. But I've loved our defense. I think our defense has been great. Other than that first possession, we've held them to one shot. I think we're doing a great job of guarding the ball, appropriate help, guarding the ball. So if we keep defending, we get good looks, I think that bodes well in our favor. But I'm really happy with our defense. We just got to keep taking open shots.
And on the other end, Justin Bean. He leads his conference in rebounding and scoring. He's been relatively quiet in the first half. Defensively, what have you done to keep him in check?
I think David's doing a great job one-on-one on him on the perimeter of contesting him, and we're doing a good job on his ball screens. He's not getting an advantage where he can drive us and slip to the basket. But as you know, he's a great player. We did it for 20 minutes. We got 20 minutes more.
All right, we're going to wish you best of luck, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Niko Medved squad picking up the slack early on, and it leads to the 33-24 lead here at the break. We'll get you to the guys in New York. AT&T 5G they have coming up. Here at Moby Arena in Fort Collins, where the Rams have won 25 of their last 27 games, including all 7 so far this season, and they're halfway to another home victory here tonight. 33-24 at the break. What stands out most to you, Steve, here from the first 20 minutes?
Well, the thing that stands out more to me more than anything else is the rebounding and the fact that Utah State only has 2 offensive rebounds in the game, which equals only 2 points. So they are usually a really good team on the glass, haven't been able to do it. And the other thing that Coach Medved was concerned about was their transition game. They have no fast break points. So the fact that they're holding them off on the glass and not giving up any fast break points, that's a big reason why they have this lead.
Jason and Steve here looking at what transpired in that opening half. And again, opening surge for Utah State started out with a 10-5 lead, but then Stevens and company got it rolling.
Yeah, there's too much Isaiah Stevens. He had 12 points in the first half. He's making threes. He takes it to the basket. He also is able to create a very quick tempo. And then David Roddy, the 2 men for Colorado State, 21 points between them. So they've gotten it done. Utah State right now, they need Justin Bean to start really asserting himself. That he is. He did not in the first half. They need him on the road, a senior, in the second half.
14-1 run brought the Rams from 5 behind to a lead they have not given back. Double figures in one stretch, and 8 make it 9. Number 2.
And this Utah State team was down 15 against New Mexico at halftime the other day, but Colorado State, New Mexico's kind of trying to build something. They're not a good defensive team. This Colorado State team is a little different.
More threes than 2s made the first half for the Rams. 7 from beyond the arc, 6 inside the line. And that first additional drive off the side rim. And Utah State, 10 field goals in the first half, just 4 assists, and 3rd of the nation, 19 assists per game, and now Jones with the turnover.
The other guy who has not played well is Rylan Jones. 3 assists, that's his 3rd turnover. 3 assists, 3 turnovers, didn't take a shot in the first half. They've got to get more out of their point guard play in this game.
Roddy and Bean one-on-one. And now offensive foul away from the ball. Look at Horvath for the illegal screen, I believe. Here's Bean trying to get untracked.
Yeah, he just is not asserting himself. He needs to try and do more. He was kind of like not in the game for large chunks of this game.
Check it, not Horvath, that foul on Stevens. Wrong number 4 there, so we got the 2nd on Stevens. Now Bean trying to get things pointed in the right direction. He will get a trip to the stripe where he's an excellent free throw shooter.
Well, I like the call by Coach Odom. Kind of an isolation for him at the foul line area. Went one-on-one with David Roddy at the foul line, got it to the basket. Really had an opportunity to finish that. Probably should have, but he's going to shoot 2.
83% shooter at the line. 5th in the Mountain West in that category. Steve, we had the chance to talk to both Bean and Roddy. They're both very complimentary of each other, and no surprises. They kind of know what they're going to see in each other, and You know, they're different body types, but similar in their aggressiveness.
Yeah, I mean, they played against each other for a couple of years now, so they know each other very well, have a tremendous amount of respect for each other, as well they should.
A couple of free throws to begin for Utah State. Stevens kick out. Thistlewood, again, struggling to get going from deep in the first half.
Yeah, he was hesitant to shoot that one. He probably should have.
Tipped out. Bairstow has been super active. 4 left on the timer. And the Yankees' 6-game winning streak during the non-conference schedule, including the likes of Richmond, handed in a couple of overtimes, New Mexico State, Oklahoma. 1-1 so far in conference as Stevens gets it done at the end of the shot clock, end of the half, doesn't matter. Pressure time, he delivers. You know,
he's shooting 33% for the season from 3 coming in, but he looks like a much better shooter than that. Wow.
Idle Rock heaved it. Wild miss there for Utah State. In all 3 threes Stevens has hit have been tough. The first one, remember, he had a defender draped all over him at the end of the shot clock. So converting under duress. Underneath inside, and Horvath, sweet feed for Bean.
And that's what Utah State needs to do. They need to play the game a little bit faster, get up in transition, get some stops, defensive rebound, and push the their best.
Just the 3rd field goal for Bean. 9 now in the contest. Stevens can't get it, and Bairstow soaring back to collect. Foul on the baseline. And the shove.
You're going to see Utah State here running the floor hard. They just forgot all about Bean. They had 2 guys out on Horvath. That was not good transition defense that time by Colorado State.
Foul on Deshaun Thomas, his first. Ryan Odom and trying to see if this team can get a spark, and being fouled by Roddy. That'll be a second.
I'm guessing that Ryan Odom told him at halftime, listen, you got to be more aggressive. Now he's being much more aggressive, looking to get things done on offense.
Late reach on the arm.
That's close.
Double-double last game, 21 and 11 for Bean. 10th this season. It's tied for 4th in the nation this year.
See, when you have a great player, he's got to take shots. He's got to take chances. He's the guy. He only took 7 shots in the first half, which is not awful, but they weren't aggressive shots. Now he's being much more aggressive offensively.
He has all 6 of the Aggies' points here in the second half.
Good move. Oh.
Roddy on the rampage.
That's exactly right. Now you have a guy like that coming at you with that size and that crossover, that ball handling ability. Watch this crossover here by this guy, 6'6". Oh, that's pretty good.
Foul on Horvath, his second.
6'6", 255, shaking people. You don't really see that often.
Don't see a lot of guys too anxious to take charges either when that's coming. Not able to finish off the 3-point trip. Double figures now for Roddy. Idle Rock.
I don't know about that. I think Idle Rock now he's trying to get something going for himself also. Let's see here. Oh, that's a charge. That is a dead charge. I mean, that's an easy one.
Underneath, out of bounds. And Idle Rock's got it again. Top scoring outing as an Aggie, 16, 6 of 8 from the floor. Last game against New Mexico, Horvath, his old retriever teammate from back east, gets it done.
Good move off the dribble by Horvath there.
He's got 8, 4 of 7, shooting-wise on the night. Quick kick from Roddy. Try to return the favor is Stevens, and it's tapped out, 14 to shoot. trying to get this offensive rhythm back for the Rams after sputtering. But San Diego State held below 50 on that nut.
They run a ton of pick and roll and a ton of dribble handoffs. Got to shoot it.
End of the shot clock. Stevens going strong off the side of the rim. Quick attack back the other way. Bairstow going to get called for stretching out the arm against Thistlewood.
Yeah, I thought that was a good call. Yeah, definitely. Good position by Thistlewood again. He's 1-1 now. One he didn't get, one he got.
Ryan Odom not pleased. Second on Bairstow.
Great cut.
Pass wasn't too shabby either. Right on the money for Thomas. Junior from Durham, North Carolina, able to cash in. His first field goal. Horvath calling for it. Skip to Ashworth. He'll knife inside. Mid-range jumper. Back for Idlerod. Quick trigger on the three. Followed up by Horvath. There's the second chance points that the Aggies are looking for.
Yeah, that time Jacobs didn't do a good job, number 13, of boxing out Horvath. He was in position to do it. He didn't do it. Yeah, they're going to bring doubles on Roddy, but he's a good passer. That's a great pass opposite. That is all David Roddy.
Stevens then with the extra pass for Lake, and the freshman delivering.
When you get doubles in the low post, you're taught to look completely opposite because the help had to come from somewhere. And then they reversed it to the corner, get a wide open shot. That is a hockey assist by David Roddy.
Jalen Lake, 3 of 3 from long range, 9 triples in the contest here for the Rams.
Well, you take a look at Colorado State. David Roddy, an assist there, and then he gets a hockey assist to Lake for the 3. Up 9.
Back here in Moby Arena, and the Rams offense working exquisitely.
Well, you get the ball to David Roddy in the low post, and he's so, look at, you're going to see him right here. The first thing he's going to do is he's going to back dribble with his double team. He knows he's sizing up the floor. He knows that the weak side has to be somebody open there because he's being double teamed. He kicks the ball opposite, and then Isaiah Stevens to the corner. That is a hockey assist, but it all started because David Roddy knows what's going on when he gets doubled and what to do with that ball. He's a dangerous guy. He averages over 2 assists a game. You double him, you don't know what to do. Should I double him? That way he doesn't score, but if I double him, somebody else might score.
So Utah State with a tough assignment tonight, and David Roddy and the Rams, and more to come with the Bulldogs on the road. Tip-off 11 p.m. Eastern, Tuesday night on CBS Sports Network. How about this, Steve, with the COVID cancellations for everybody across the country, can make it for some weird scheduling as you look at Roddy's numbers on the night, but it's the 3rd straight road game to start out conference play for Utah State, just the way it's kind of shaken out. Of course, they'll make some of those up on the back end deeper in the year.
And you never want to start conference play with 3 in a row on the road, but that's the way it came down this year. You can't worry about it, you just got to go play.
One negative for the Rams here early on in this half. How about 16 fouls here in less than 6 minutes? Looks like the Aggies are going to be shooting a bunch of free throws to the end of this game.
And that's something that Colorado State doesn't do. They don't usually foul a lot.
And then on Chandler Jacobs. So Bairstow to the line. And getting the opportunity with Brock Miller out again. And it may be a lot of opportunity to hear kind of the tone of Ryan Odom's voice, with Miller, the veteran from Sandy, Utah, having that painful back issue that's plagued him on and off. He's with the team here, was out there cheering on his guys in warm-ups and on the bench, but until that kind of gets rectified, I think he's going to be sitting for a stretch.
Yeah, I think they just want to try and get this kid right if they can, because he has not been right all season.
Turnover Rams.
That was good transition defense that time by Colorado State.
Bean contested. That's Moores, the big sophomore Kiwi from New Zealand, doing a solid job defensively. And now battle for the rebound and a foul on Utah State. Rylan Jones scrambling for it, and he'll pick up the personal. Team number 3 of the half on the Aggies. Tonje, nice lead. Moores rejected by Bean. Bairstow wanted to go baseline, shut down by Stevens. Good double help coming from Jacobs, and it forces the walk.
Yeah, he had Isaiah Stevens on him, and he wanted to try and take him into the post. But he moved his pivot foot.
9th turnover on the Aggies.
I mean, he's seeing Stevens here. He wants to take him, and then an extra step.
9 turnovers, 10 points off of them for the Rams, and 6 assists. Not often you see this Aggie team that shares it so well with more giveaways than setups. Lake and made his first 3. That one from Weldy. Can't connect on the heat check. Bairstow twisting in. Jacobs got a piece. Bairstow regathers, and boy, his confidence continues to grow.
Yeah, I mean, he's making very aggressive moves with the dribble. He's really good with the bounce.
Yeah, we saw him bounce up and throw it down. That ferocious jam the other night in New Mexico. He can elevate. 13 for him, and how about Moore's putting it on the deck?
Well,
he's got a little go.
That was completely falling asleep. They thought he was going to hand it off. They just let him go, and he lays it in the basket.
6'10", redshirt sophomore, delivering 2. Rams by 7. Horvath, aggressive take out of bounds off of him.
You take a look at Moores there. Horvath thought he was going to hand it off and just let him go to the basket. He was about as surprised, I guess, as anybody.
Little craftiness for Moores. It's a nice little hand as Roddy comes back to replace him. And 2 of the top scoring and shooting teams in the Mountain West tangling here. And 2 of the teams expected to be there when all is said and done. In March, Roddy trying to set up Tonje, and they got Bean in the air.
I'll tell you what, when David Roddy starts wheeling and dealing, these guys don't stand still because they know he throws that one with the left hand on the money to Tonje.
Non-shooting foul. 2nd on Bean. 4th of the half on the Aggies. Lob for Roddy. With 3 Aggies all around him, no problem.
That was such a great out-of-bounds play, I can't tell you. You saw that coming from the time they set it up.
13 now for Roddy. Take from Horvath and loses it out of bounds. Aggies will have the ball back, but the Rams have the front spot. David Roddy, the catch and the finish at home at Mobley.
College basketball on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, and secure.
Can it almost be 4 years since UMBC did the unthinkable? First 16 seed to take out a 1 seed when Ryan Odom and the Retrievers bested Virginia, and they did it impressively. It wasn't a fluke. They won by 20.
No, it was an unbelievable. You know, it's funny because people were always asking me, they were always telling me, oh, there's no way a 16 will ever be the 1. I said, let me tell you something. I don't know when it's going to happen, but it's going to happen at some point. And Ryan Odom, he was the guy who got it done against Virginia.
Continuing that winning tradition, Horvath was on the team that year, didn't play in the game. He and Idle Rock following coach and coaching staff coming too. And again, kind of melding with the culture already at Utah State. Talked to Justin Bean about that coming in. He said the way things are constructed with team and coach and assistant, everybody kind of had to earn things from scratch, and it's worked out well for the Aggies.
Well, there's no doubt, but you know, where Horvath was from in the Maryland area, and Idle Rocks from England. They didn't see mountains like they saw in Logan, Utah, I can tell you that.
Foul on Tanjay trying to track beat. You think of this Aggie program, Steve, no matter who's been in charge, one losing season the last 28 years and 12 NCAA trips.
Yeah, oh no. I mean, when Stu Morrow was there for years, they were good for a long, long time. Quality program, basketball program, and their arena is a tough place. Good program.
Bean, again, starting to assert himself a little bit more, and they'll be able to do some damage from the line here again. Utah State into the bonus. And Bean can get it done from the stripe 83% of the season. First miss of the night for him. As a team, Aggies 9 of 11.
They're going to need to make a couple of stops in a row and get it up and transition a little bit. But this guy has really been dominating the game in a lot of ways, even when he's not scoring.
And Roddy and Steve together shooting 28 points. Everybody else just 19 points combined for the Rams. Maybe Jacobs can change that from the stripe. You
know what I'm seeing, Jason, with Roddy is they're playing through him tonight a lot. He's been involved in so many plays. I mean, here's another example here. So he is touching the ball a lot, and he's that kind of guy. He needs to touch it a lot because he's so dangerous doing so many different things, and he draws so much attention that he can make his teammates better.
Now they'll hold off on the free throw. I believe Horvath has some blood or something that needs attention on his left hand, so he's over with the athletic training staff getting that attended to. Jacobs will be at the line, and Rams, again, we talk about one of their weapons, Steve, free throw shooting. Third in the nation, 81%. They get about 14 points per game from the line. They've only attempted 2 free throws so far tonight.
Yeah, that's a big difference for them. Normally they get to the line a lot and they make them all, as you said.
So Horvath getting that addressed. And now here's Jacobs, grad student from Missouri City, Texas. Again, Dallas Baptist, almost 2,000 points. Got it done on the floor and off it. Academic and basketball All-America last year.
The only transfer who they even have in the program. It's unbelievable. Where nowadays, let's face it, that transfer portal is the most important thing that coaches look at. And really, Niko Medved has built this thing the old-fashioned way, which is what I was telling him today. You bring in a good first class, you bring in a great second class. By the time they're juniors, you get really good. Here they are. David Roddy's a junior, Isaiah Stevens a junior, Tanjay's a junior.
Ashworth just grazed the rim, and Stevens able to secure it. And Utah State still scuffling from long range. 2 of 10 on the contest from deep. And this team good for about 9 made threes per game as Jones picks up another foul. That's his second.
And let's face it, Jason, they've done a tremendous job defensively on Utah State from the three-point line.
Ashworth trying to poach it away, and they'll get Stevens with the body trying to get it back.
That's a good call. That is a good call. You're going to see here Ashworth does a great job, and Stevens right there. Yeah, that's a good call. Good hustle by Ashworth.
That's number 3 on Stevens. He's got 15 points, 4 assists.
That's a great sub. 3 fouls, you're up 10, get him out for a couple minutes. I like it.
Touched on it before what Stevens means to this team.
I mean, yeah, he picks up his 4 by some fluke, and he's got to sit for the next 6 minutes. You don't want that to happen.
Ashworth drains the first. Sophomore from Alpine, Utah at Lone Peak High School. 7 guys in this team average about 7.5 or more points per game. Only 13 teams in the nation do that, but they haven't gotten that total balance tonight.
No, but I'll tell you what, they're hanging around. It's one of the things that we're seeing here with Utah State. One of 7 teams that has 11 guys scoring double figures this year. So a lot of capable guys out there.
Jacobs wheeling back to the paint. Is that off of Ashworth? It is. Stay at this end. 9 left to shoot. Oh, check it. They're going to give it to the Rams.
Wow, that was, I think that was off Colorado State. I don't think anybody touched that. Well,
Roddy again from the corner this time.
that was Justin Bean all over him. He just took him off the bounce. The other thing that you have to do when you want to have a great program is get guys better. The guys at Colorado State have gotten better.
Growth for Roddy. Jones maybe tried to force that one to Bean.
Well, you know, Roddy, he's so good. He can face up, he can post up. He's a great face up. Couple of crosses. He just pulls it in his face.
So off the kick, 20 of the shot clock. Jones to bring it back in. Ashworth screaming down at an angle towards the basket, and he will get to the line. Certainly will. 2-shot foul coming.
Kendall Moore didn't do a good job of containing the dribble that time.
Give that foul to Jacobs, his set. Free throws starting to make a difference here for Utah State. 12 of 14 at the line.
That's kind of how they've hung in here in the second half.
And they'll be shooting 2 the rest of the way in the double bonus. Both good for Ashworth.
It'll be interesting to see if Colorado State decides to play a little zone. They don't very often, but they don't want to give up points at the free throw line every time. And now this is a 1-3-1 defense that Ryan Odom used the other day.
Carved up quickly by the freshman Lake.
Yeah, Lake looks really good.
He's got 11. Joining Stevens and Roddy in double figures, and now another call against the Rams. And they're getting a little restless at Moban.
Well, that's a foul. I mean, it's only way. I know everybody's going nuts, but that's a foul.
Ashworth with another free throw.
Really, people should be more concerned that Kendall Moore is not doing a good job of staying in front of Stephen Ashworth. That's what they should be more worried about.
Ashworth's made all 5 so far on the night from the stripe.
Let's see if Utah State sticks with that zone.
How about the tap out, coach, from Bean? And Ashworth turns it into 3.
That's a big turnaround right there. Yeah, they're staying with the 1-3-1, even though they gave them a basket the first time they were in it.
Well, they were thinking it might be 2. Instead, it goes for 4 that time down the floor, but look at the flashback.
And that's one of the problems with a 1-3-1. It's a spread-out defense, and if you find the seams with the dribble, you can get to the basket.
Moore surging. Ashworth on the take. He's had the hot hand with 8 straight points and the chance to add more, getting to the line.
Being very aggressive off the dribble. There's the 3. Now he's going to the line again for 2 more. I'm going to bet Utah State is not in that 1-3-1 this next possession.
Couple more makes for Ashworth, who's now 30 of 34. Let me get 30 of 35 from the line this season. He has been rock solid tonight.
And they're trying it one more time, the zone. The corners is where the 1-3-1 is at its weakest. Got to get the ball to the middle of the floor right there.
Moore tried 3 and couldn't stick it.
not a comfortable possession on offense for Colorado State. Good move.
Bairstow finds an alley and score. Timeout, Colorado State. Now the Aggies searching for some sort of life, and they get it in the form of Ashworth, and then Bairstow charging hard on the comeback trail for the visitors. Time now for our game summary, brought to you by AT&T 5G. Rams got the threes. Utah State's got the freeze going.
Yeah, the freeze, and they're going to be freeze. They're going to be shooting 2 for the rest of this half. So that's a huge thing, and they're a good free throw shooting team. And they're being very aggressive with the bounce now and getting a lot of whistles called against Colorado State.
How about Sean Bairstow stepping up into a starting role and providing?
Well, I'll tell you, he's been terrific. And I've watched him a lot. I didn't know he was this good with the ball off the dribble. And at 6'8", to be able to put the ball on the ground like that and get to where he wants to go, I'll tell you what, really, really good player. You know, if you have to lose a guy like Brock Miller, who was one of the best three-point shooters in the history of the school, that's not a bad guy to put in there for him, I can tell you that.
And Brock Miller looking on as Bairstow, his replacement, delivers another double-figure outing. 14 Saturday, 15 so far tonight.
And this will make them better because Bairstow will get all this experience, and then Brock Miller comes back and use both those guys, and they're different. And here's that 1-3-1 again. And it's, you know, you got a guy on top like Bairstow, long. It's really giving Colorado State some issues these last 3 possessions.
9th turnover now on the Rams. Utah State, which coughed it up a bunch earlier, has kind of cleaned things up in the turnover category. Ashworth. Got it!
The other thing, Jason, that's happened, this whole run has happened with Ryland Jones out of the game. He wasn't doing anything. Ashworth is now the point guard, and this team has really turned into something different in the last 5 minutes.
13 points for Ashworth, all of them here in the second half, helping just drag the Aggies back into this game.
Well, Stephen Ashworth playing the point guard spot now, out there by himself, taking that 3. We got a 1-point game going on here.
55-54, Utah State creeping close here at Moby Arena, where the Rams haven't lost all season. Up next, get the latest college basketball updates as our analysts highlight this season's flashes coast to coast. Watch Inside College Basketball right here on CBS Sports Network. Jason Knapp, Steve Lapis, Desmond Burnell, our entire CBS Sports Network crew. Glad to have you with us for this one as we're in conference play, and this feels like a good conference game.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Mountain West is a good conference, ranked 5th this year. Of all the conferences, there's 31 conferences, 32 conferences in the country, and the Mountain West ranked 5th. So a lot of really good teams in this league. And one thing I have said for years covering this league, some great home court venues all over this conference, as is Moby Arena.
And Rams have won 70%, more than that here all time in this building. And again, 25 of their last 27 as Stevens hits the first free throw. You mentioned the league. 6 teams right now in the top 65 of the NCAA net. One of the metrics they'll use to fill out the at-large field of the NCAA tournament. Stevens gets it back. Can't put it in. Roddy with a chance.
Oh, wow.
And they'll get him for the foul going over the top. That's his 3rd.
I thought he was able to sneak in there and get that one, but I didn't get a great look at it. That's a foul. That's a foul.
Roddy not in agreement, and again, every foul means 2 shots the other way.
And those are bad fouls. 94-foot fouls are the worst kind of fouls you get. If you foul the other team and they're shooting 2 under that basket, under your own basket, that's not good.
Horvath missing the first. Tanjay back in for Thomas.
And I like that Nico Medved and Colorado State are going small now with David Roddy at the 5 spot. Give them a little more space against this 1-3-1 defense. And look at Sean Bairstow on top. He's a big guy on top, but Isaiah Stevens being back. But they have really not been good with that.
Another sweet pass from Roddy. Electric reverse try there for Jacobs, won't go. But
I might have missed something, but I didn't see a foul there. I don't know.
Well, let's see.
I'd like to see for sure. Oh my goodness, where's the foul? That was not a good call.
Jacobs will take advantage nonetheless.
I think when Ryan Odom sees that one, or he may have gotten a text already from his dad, Dave, he's probably watching it. That was a rough one.
Dave, longtime D1 coach at Wake Forest, South Carolina. Ryan said it's fun having him out early on, meet the guys when he first got the job, come back out. Said loves practice, games, gets a little nervous.
He wanted to teach the big men how to be Tim Duncan. Good luck.
7 minutes to go. Rams by 3. Jones pulling it back. 6 to shoot. Guy that leads the Aggies in threes, Ashworth, who's been smoking hot this half, can't deliver.
Yeah, not a great possession that time. Didn't really get off a good shot at the end of the shot clock.
Both teams shooting 50% or better here in this second half. 53% for the Rams, 50 straight up for the Aggies. Utah State's done a lot of damage from the line. Roddy, the re-entry from Stevens, and he'll earn free throws. Third foul on Horvath.
You know, it'd be interesting to see how long Coach Odom plays without Justin Bean. I didn't think this was a good call either, by the way. Bean's got 4 fouls. Got it to have him out like he does. I think if Colorado State gets this to 6 or 7, I wouldn't be surprised to see Bean come back in with the 4 fouls. I guess a little sooner than I thought.
Bean back in. 6:21 left to go. Idle Rock exits. You agree with that?
Maybe get him in. I wouldn't have brought him in yet, to be honest with you, but maybe get him in on offense and see if you can get him out on defense. Let's see what happens.
And we'll see if they do the situational substitution thing.
You know, it's got to work. There's got to be a dead ball or something for it to happen.
Averaging a double-double. Has 12 and 6 so far tonight. It's Bairstow who continues to pile up the points and one.
You know, I can't emphasize enough how good this kid has been off the dribble. Everything that he does, and he's got good size at 6'8". Gets to the other side on David Roddy.
And now both stars, Steve, have 4 fouls to deal with here the rest of the way.
And you know what? I would definitely get Roddy out of the game, and I would have gotten Bean out of the game on defense on this possession. Because you had a chance there on the made foul shot to get him out. But they're in the 2-3 zone now.
Long jumper from Tanje.
Well, he has not been on tonight at all. You know, you got to go with Roddy. I mean, he's guarding Horvath. I'd give the ball to Horvath and see if he can get Roddy to get that fifth foul.
Bairstow in and out. Horvath with the offensive rebound and stick back. And Roddy kind of had to let him go.
He absolutely let him go, which was smart.
Tie game here, 60 apiece.
This zone has really baffled them a little bit.
First tie since it was 10-10.
Not a good shot.
Jacobs can't untie it. And now they need to get it unstuck, and they do.
I think it's a good, Horvath is their second leading scorer, and David Roddy's guarding him. I would get him involved in this possession because Roddy's going to run away from him. He's not going to foul.
7 second chance points here in the second half for the Aggies. Remember, they had just 2 in the first 20 minutes. Bairstow couldn't get that twisting turn to go down. Turnover Rams.
Rare turnover from Isaiah Stevens.
Bean. No call either way with the 2 guys playing with 4, and now that's on Roddy, and that could be 5 or out of bounds. Let's see.
Oh, I think they called it out of bounds.
Yeah, they did just call out of bounds.
That was close, though. He could have been gone.
I think that's what some of the fans in Moby thought maybe too. Jacobs made him twist the other way, and then close there on that contact. Ashworth guarded by Lake. 10 to shoot. Looking for the contact, can't get it. Saved it to Bean, who gets it to go.
I tell you, they could have gotten Roddy for his 5th there, too.
First lead for the Aggies since it was 10-8. Utah State by a bucket.
Well, they have fought hard this game. They were down 8-10 the whole game, but they were hanging around.
Rams looking for their first field goal in a 5-minute stretch.
And now Utah State man-to-man.
Roddy straight away through. Timeout. David Roddy gives Colorado State the lead back. Justin Bean, David Roddy, 2 of the leading scorers and rebounders in the Mountain West, hope to continue to score and rebound in this game, but they got to be careful in the foul category.
Yeah, they definitely do, and they've been playing with 4 fouls for a while now. So both these guys got to stay in for their team. Roddy here knocking out this 3 that he just knocked out. You got to get up on him. Hand was not up high enough by Horvath. I like the timeout by Niko Medved. Utah State took the lead for the first time in a long time. David Roddy made that 3. Now Colorado State up 1. He calls timeout to make sure his team is aware that this is a huge defensive possession to not allow them to get back into the lead again.
I like the thought from David Roddy to us earlier today. He said his first thought after the 30-point loss at San Diego State Saturday, I can't wait to get back on the floor for the next game. We're not that team. Kudos to the Aztecs for showing us what to work on.
No doubt about it. And you know what? I'll tell you one thing, though, about Utah State. They've shown a lot of resiliency in that last game against New Mexico and today.
Down double figures, 17 at the pit Saturday. Down 10 here in this one.
And the zone for the first time from Colorado State, which they don't do very often.
Jones into the paint, tied up, and the arrow favoring the Rams.
I mean, that should have been a no call. I don't think he was tied up long enough here. That was quick. Rylan Jones has really struggled tonight. It's funny, 2 teams that play 98% man-to-man in crunch time, both playing zone.
6 rebounds, 3 assists, but again, flurry of turnovers. Hasn't taken a shot. Roddy's taken plenty and made most.
How much did he elevate on that there? You know, the great players taking over this game. That's what you're supposed to do.
9 of 12 for 22. And the junior from Minneapolis makes it a 3-point cushion.
And they have not attacked the zone very well, Utah State. Got to get the ball there. Wide open 3.
Bairstow can't bury it. Bean trying to keep it alive against Roddy. Again, both guys, 1 more foul sends them to the bench. Up 3 with under 3 left for Colorado State.
I like the team that Utah State had in the game when Rylan Jones was out and Ashworth was the point guard. Oh, this guy's taking over.
Jacobs, Johnny on the spot to scoop up the long rebound. Go Medved barking instructions to Stevens. He'll call his own number.
You got 2 first-team all-league players. They need a basket bad, Utah State.
And Ryan Odom wants to get them in the right spot, so he'll spend the timeout. 2:13 left to go. A 7-0 spurt, and the Rams by 5.
Well, you got David Roddy and you got Isaiah Stevens, 2 of the absolute best players in the league. How about the elevation on that one there by David Roddy? And then Isaiah Stevens goes to the baseline with another pull-up. You got 2 guys like that, they're going to get it done for you.
Yeah, the students aren't back till next week. It's going to get a bit louder and more rowdy here inside Moby Arena as we look at the game. Reset, still multiple timeouts for Coach Odom.
I don't know, there's a lot of young people under these baskets, I can see. I can tell you right now. But right now, Utah State, you know, Justin Bean, got to get him going somehow, but it's a little harder against the zone to get a shot for a particular guy. And I think Colorado State did him a favor. They went man-to-man. Now you can isolate Justin Bean if you want to.
Jones flips back, Horvath.
Tough shot.
And well off.
I can't believe that's what they wanted out of that timeout. I think they were a little surprised. I think they thought Colorado State would still be zoned.
Horvath is a 45% three-point shooter in the season. They can't stick it. Almost 3 minutes without a bucket for the Aggies. And Stevens throws it away. Bairstow on the run out. No flush. Little off target, lays it in. They'll take it.
I mean, Stevens has made some decisions. I mean, this kid had 53 assists and 7 turnovers in his last 7 games. I mean, he doesn't usually turn it over like that.
20 points now for Bairstow. Another showcase performance, starting in place of the injured Brock Miller.
You're going to see a pick and roll here at the end of this shot clock. Well, Utah State sticking with that zone.
Tonje. Ashworth pokes it away.
Clock's running down.
Rams got a scramble. Dump for Roddy. And gets fouled.
I tell you, that was not a great pass. And Roddy just knows how to create space in the lane. And he's got terrific hands. I mean, this is, you watch here, he's getting fronted by Bean, and he's coming down with that ball. He doesn't care.
Yeah, that's on Horvath, number 4. So he and Bean each with 4. 1:01 left to go. Oh, check it. It is on Bean. So that's it.
I tell you, I give Tonje credit. That shot clock's running down. A lot of guys would have just fired something up. He had the presence of mind to try to throw the ball in to David Roddy. That was a pretty good play on both guys' part, Tonje and Roddy.
So Bean is done on the night. 14.6 rebounds, and yes, foul number 5. And Roddy looking to make it a 2-possession game from the line.
This guy's tough.
Solid shooter from the stripe too, 74%. Got them both.
Got to go quick now if you're Utah State.
Horvath in deep and good.
Smart. David Roddy with the 4 fouls basically let him go. Steal.
Horvath picks it up. Kick back for Ashworth.
Don't have to rush.
40 left in regulation. Ashworth, a cutting idle rock, lays it in. 1-point game.
Wow.
First, the bucket from Horvath.
So he was smart, he attacked Roddy off the dribble, and now Roddy standing still. He could have run the entire baseline there because it was after a basket. Not a good play. David Roddy's made a zillion great plays. That one was not a good one.
And then Ashworth driving, dishing, and Idle Rock finishing, and suddenly another one-point game. Now the question is, do you just play defense and leave yourself 5.7 seconds down one? Boy, that's a tough. This is like some coaches would foul in this situation. Some coaches would say, I'll take my chances. I'm on the road, 5.7. I think Ryan Odom does not foul, tries to play good defense, but if you don't get this rebound, you're going to lose. Let's see how they play it. Each team with a timeout left. If there's 9 seconds left, you don't even think twice. You just play defense. 5.7 you're going to leave yourself if the shot clock runs out. That's leaving it really close. Oh, I guess they decided to foul. I don't think he wanted to do that. So Stevens gets bumped all the way by down the sideline. And he's only the best free throw shooter in the Mountain West. Yeah, you didn't want to do this. And not to him, of all people. That's on Ashworth. Stevens, 88%. Tops of the conference, as Steve talked about. Yeah, that's not what you wanted. And right now, Utah State goes down, if they go down 3. Take it to the basket, get a quick 2. You don't have, if you get a good 3, fine, that's terrific. But you got to think Colorado State, Nico Medved's telling his guys, don't give up a 3. Stevens cans the second. I like the quick 2 in this situation because Colorado State's going to try not to foul. 30 seconds left. Take it to the basket, Horvath on Roddy. Jones will take it himself and get the 2. Now you have to foul. You got time to trap one time in the backcourt if you want, but you're going to have to foul because you're down 1 and the shot clock is off. Yeah, who do you foul? Foul him. Everybody's pretty good at the line. Jacobs, smaller sample size, but he's 11 of 13 at the stripe this season. I think he's a good guy to foul. You know, he hasn't really been in this pressure cooker. I'm not saying he's not a good player when he was in Division II, but this is a little different. Him or Lake are the 2 guys that I would try and foul in that situation, and they got one of them. So 11 of 13 coming in, made all 4 tonight. And you look at his percentage, and another close call here in conference for Utah State. They lost their first conference games by 2, one by 3 in overtime, and another one down to the wire for the Aggies and their fans here in Fort Collins. Jacobs hits the first. You know, here's the danger of playing a team that shoots 80% as a team from the free throw line. It's tough when you're down late. These guys are money in the bank. Colorado State hit its first 2. Remember, didn't make one of the first half, hardly got any chances from the stripe. Kendall Moore coming back in the game, a little bit better defense on the perimeter for John Tonje. Same thing here. Take it to the basket, get a quick 2, and foul again, and hope they miss. Aggies down 3. Horvath wants 3. Can't get it. Ashworth trying to get it. Jacobs collects and foul. I didn't like the shot there, I can tell you that, by Horvath. The emotion from Stevens. And this team reeling off 11 straight wins to start the season, tying for the 2nd longest winning wave in school history. And then gut punched by San Diego State Saturday night. It was a 4-point game at the half, and they lost by 30. Coming out with energy and emotion tonight and try to withstand a furious charge back here from the Aggies. Well, now it's a 2-possession game. If you can get a quick 2 in 3 seconds and be down,
3 with 5 to go, and foul try one more time. Just take it quick. It's 2 possessions.
Ashworth hoists, can't hit, tip in by Idle Rock with just 2.2 left. And Ryan Odom will try to extend this all the way. He takes the final timeout for the end.
Well, right now it's just about getting a steal and making a 3. That's all they can do.
Little tap there from Idle Rock.
They're going to set up their pressure. The big thing is, if you're Colorado State, got to get it in bounds. But you say to your guys, listen, if you can't get it in bounds, throw the ball to the backcourt and just make sure somebody touches it. Throw it up high, throw it into the backcourt, and make somebody touch it. If you feel like you're not going to be able to get it in bounds, one of your guys in the backcourt.
Don't forget latest college basketball updates. Coast to coast inside college basketball right here on CBS Sports Network. Winner of this one goes to 2-1 in conference play. Rams making 12 straight free throws here in this last chunk of the second half to put themselves in prime position to grab their 12th win in 13 tries this year.
Colorado State has 1 timeout left, so they do have a bit of a buffer if they can't get it in bounds on this possession.
Arrow favoring the Aggies too if we get a tie-up.
Ideally, you're Utah State, you want to make the throw, try to throw it into the deep corner. Like you said, a tie-up, they get the ball, they got a chance. You get a steal, you got to take a 3.
David Roddy, 24 points for number 21.
Interesting, all their guys on the baseline. I've seen a lot more people do this, run this press-breaking setup lately.
Well, from a line of scrimmage, the Rams break and look to get it in. And Roddy forced to call a timeout. How about the Aggies ready for it?
That was close, and they were ready for it, no doubt.
And Ryan Odom, maybe one of that 5-second call.
It was close.
And maybe he's saying he stepped over the line.
David Roddy has looked shaky taking the ball out of bounds, let me just say that. As good as he is, he's been shaky in the last minute taking that ball out of bounds.
Here's another look. Oh, that 1 foot, they all came up, said maybe that left foot went across.
I couldn't tell.
It'll remain Ram basketball.
Now they have to get this ball in bounds.
Nope.
No, he didn't touch it.
Not quite. Went over the other line there in the A of Colorado.
They got to get it in bounds now. Now you tell them, listen, if you're stuck, throw it into the backcourt, and somebody just run and get a hand on it, and the game's going to end. Throw a high pass, not a line drive, because if it goes out of bounds and nobody touches it, Utah State gets it there again under the basket.
Well, Utah State had a half-court heave at the end of regulation last game that got waved off. They need a similar kind of magic that counts this time around.
Well, first they got to get the ball. Then
Colorado State wins it here by 5. Again, the Aggies surging back from 10 down to take the lead momentarily in the second half. But then the Rams getting it done, including 14 straight makes from the line to seal the deal.
Yeah, you got to give them a lot of credit, Utah State. They hung in there in a tough environment on the road. They were down. They weren't playing well. They got the lead, but, you know, too much David Roddy and too much Isaiah Stevens in the end, and too much good free throw shooting when it counted.
Apologize for some of those technical difficulties there at the tail end, but the difficulties for the Rams Well, they were able to overcome those tonight. And again, you look at the finish here. Stevens able to close it out from the stripe. Again, 14 straight free throws converted by CSU to finish things off. And that is what makes this team hard to beat, their ability to make free throws.
And coming back on them late is going to be very tough to do all year because of their ability to shoot free throws.
And that free throw, the last play of the game, again, apologize for missing that with technical difficulties, but Stevens made it, and Colorado State wins, and Nico Medved ready to stand to talk about it with Desmond Purnell.
David, you said that you were anxious to see how your team would respond coming off your first loss of the season. What did you learn about your team tonight?
Yeah, man, I love this team. They adapt so much. They accepted the challenge. It was a heartbreaking loss on Saturday. I'm just super proud of my team for pulling in and fighting through adversity today.
Now, David, you led your squad with 24 points, even though you were in foul trouble for a huge part of the second half. What was your mindset having to play some clutch minutes with 4 fouls?
Yeah, it was tough. I've been in that position before in my career, so I just wanted to not foul as much as possible, just stay in front of my man and just be careful on my rebounds as well.
Well, congratulations on the win, David. We appreciate your time, sir.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I bet you Coach Medved would have said similar stuff like David Roddy. Thanks to Desmond for the interview, and congratulations to the star for Colorado State leading his team to victory. For Steve Lapis, Desmond Purnell, and our entire crew, this is Jason Knapp. This has been a presentation of CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sport. Rams, get it done. Let's get you back to New York and Adam Zucker and the gang.